Welcome back to another DPS analytic video. This is going to be the second week of the Scarlet Enclave for Season of Discovery. Looking at all percentiles first, we still don't have that much data to really use the 20 player metric. Hopefully in the weeks to come we'll have more boss clears, and assuming some of these fights are going to get nerfed as well. But as it stands, you're starting to see this disparity between these top three classes. If we look at 40 player, it becomes more obvious. Balanced Druid, Affliction Lock, and Shadow Priest are clearly the top three specs at the moment, and they're just so far ahead when looking at this median DPS. Looking at max percentile, we have the Ellie Shaman, followed by Affliction Lock, Balanced Druid, Destro Lock, Fury Wear, and then the Shadow Priest. Pretty stacked off, pretty close to each other. Not really as crazy as I thought it would be. I was expecting to see more of a disparity with the Affliction Lock, Balanced Druid, and Shadow Priest, but not really the case. If we look at 20 player, somewhat sort of the same thing, but again, this Ellie Shaman metric, probably on the lower end of things, only around 400 logs, so really hard to value that and say that Ellie Shaman is the best at the moment. Once we have more data, maybe we can make that conclusion. Going back to 40 player and looking at the 95th percentile, Balanced Druid, Affliction Lock, and then the Shadow Priest. Same thing we saw in the median DPS when looking at all percentiles. Right behind that is the Feral Druid, Destro Lock, and then the Ellie Shaman. And then everything else, not too far behind. The only big drop off is here below the Ret Paladin. All Hunter specs, both Mage specs, Enhance, and Fury Wear, a little bit below everything else. Looking at 20 player real quick, Ellie Shaman again, still proving to be the top DPS in this metric. Just have to wait and see what happens in the weeks to come when we have more data. Now, going back to 40 player and looking at each boss fight specifically and picking out the top performers, we're going to start off with Balnazar. Balanced Druid super far ahead here, being able to Starfall and hit everything during the fight. Just so unbeatable at the moment, it seems, by around 1,000 DPS. Following that, the Fury Warrior has 9,000, and then the Ellie Shaman has 8.4. Moving on to Beatrix, we have the Ellie Shaman, Shadow Priest, Destro Lock, and then the Fire Mage. Kind of bricked off ahead. Again, the Ellie Shaman just seeming to be permanently ahead of everything else on most of these fights. Moving on to Solistraza, we have the Fury Warrior doing incredibly well here by around 600 to 700 DPS, and then everything else is pretty close. Next we have Mason, again the Ellie Shaman seeming to be on top for a couple of these fights now, and following that is typically the Fury Warrior, Feral, and Balanced Druid, but this time we have the Ret Paladin doing really well in this fight. Next up we have Alexia the Beastmaster, Affliction Lock, Destro, Ellie, Demo, all of the multi-dot classes doing really well. Surprisingly, the Shadow Priest is not doing too well here. I was expecting to see them much higher up here. Moving on to the Reborn Council, same classes as usual. All the multi-target classes are doing exceptionally well, as expected. Affliction Lock, Shadow Priest, Destro, Ellie, and then the Balanced Druid. And then again, the Feral Druid, making a pretty good name for itself, even though it doesn't really benefit compared to these other classes. Moving on to Lily and Voss, we have the Assassination Rogue, Balanced Druid, Ret Pally, Shadow Priest, and then the Enhanced Shaman. I was about to say Ellie again since we've seen it so many times at the top here, all sitting very comfortably in those top 5 positions. However, it's worth mentioning there really isn't too much information here, so take this very lightly. And then lastly, Caldoran, we have Ellie Shaman once again at the top, followed by the Demo Lock, Affliction Lock, and then the Ret Pally, sitting far ahead of everything. But again, another fight where there's not too much information, and I kind of want to backtrack here, looking at Reborn Council. Again, not that much information on this fight as well, but I would imagine that this is going to be the trend going forward. But yeah, to wrap things up, these first 5 fights are a little bit easier and we'll have more data to work with. However, these last 3 fights, take them with a grain of salt for the weeks to come. And that's pretty much it for this video. Be sure to like and subscribe for more videos just like this one. Comment down below what you'd like to see next. And as always, I will see you in the next video.